This is April at Coppercat Bookstore here in Henderson, Nevada, and tonight I'm excited to have a conversation with Veronique Holloway and her brand new book called Ichabod's Curse Endures. And I do have to say, Wendy here at Coppercat read this super quick. We're already super excited about an event we're having on Halloween. So welcome, Veronique.
Thank you.
So tell us the backstory about Ichabod's Curse Endures.
All right. So the inspiration, my family allegedly is descended from Ichabod Crane. And sitting around a couple of Halloweens ago and preparing for a trip to Salem with my cousins, just watching movies and thinking about, how fun it would be to do something in the modern era. And it kind of just, the two kind of merged together and got me the idea for the story. So in the story, it's a dual timeline story. So half of the story is set in the past during the War of 1812 and at the end of the war. And the other half is set in the modern era. And the modern half follows a descendant of Ichabod Crane.
Oh, wonderful. So it's kind of like a historical kind of fiction-y twist.
It is, yes. So part historical fiction, part modern.
And I know we were talking right before we went on camera, if readers aren't familiar, Ichabod Crane was a real life person, which everyone may not know that.
He was, and that was, again, another part of the inspiration for the story. Again, having been allegedly descended from him, it's kind of a misnomer. A lot of times when I tell people that I'm descended from Ichabod, they immediately think, oh, the school teacher, right? Cowardly school teacher. That's from the original story. That's what the character was in the story. But what people don't realize is, yes, he was a real person and he was a career soldier. And not only him, but his entire family, his father, his grandfather, both served in the Revolutionary War. They were both generals. His children both served, and one of them was there when President Lincoln got shot and attended him after getting shot. So pretty far from cowardly school teacher.
And the original author was Washington Irving. Does he make an appearance in your book?
He does. Washington Irving becomes a character in the story. As I tell the historical fiction part, and again, keep in mind this is the fiction part, but Washington Irving becomes a character in the story, and it follows the supposed meeting between him and him and Ichabod Crane, and how the events in the story helped inspire Washington Irving to come up with his original story.
So how do you tie in a little bit of the modern timeline? Where does that kind of fall into the story?
So in the modern portion of it, again, it follows his descendant, so his 8 times whatever removed granddaughter inherits a house in Sleepy Hollow, and she thinks she's an orphan. She knows her family history, but she has no living history. So she doesn't know where this house came into being or how it came into her hands. And she goes to Sleepy Hollow to take care of it and figure out what to do with this house. And while she's there, she discovers that the horseman is real and there's a curse and he exists. And she has to break the curse and prevent the horseman from attacking.
Quick question for other writers out there. What is one thing that, did you ever encounter writer's block? How did you get past the struggles of maybe that you might encounter writing your first book?
So interesting you ask that. I've never creative writing has never been in my wheelhouse. It's something I've never been able to do. In school, it was my least favorite subject, could never do it, couldn't come up with anything. The whole time I was writing this and even researching it, I don't know where this story came from. It honestly, from the beginning, it never felt like it was even my story. It felt like it was just a story that wanted to be told, and I was a conduit for telling it. So kind of a weird thing. I didn't really ever have writer's block. But when I first had the idea for it and I was trying to do the research behind it, initially it wasn't lining up because in the original story it's set at the end of the Revolution, shortly after the Revolution, And so I was looking at it and I'm like, this isn't lining up. Everything I'm looking at is the 1800s, and this is wrong and this is wrong. And then I started looking at it a little bit more closely and found out that it lined up a lot better than I anticipated. And so that's why it's set, the historical part is set in the 1800s rather than the Revolution, like the original story. This book is listed on my website right now, along with my future books that are going to be coming out. I have another series, historical fiction series, that'll be coming out after the first of the year. But on the website, I also have a blog where you can go and find the inspiration for the story. You can find all the backstory from it, and a lot of modern things, that photos and just general write-ups from some of my own personal experiences that I came across while doing the research, and from my time in Sleepy Hollow doing research for the book. So those are all on the website as well at vhbooks.net.
When will you be at Copper Cat Books, Veronique?
I'm going to be here on Halloween night, so yay! Perfect timing to come and get the book. 3 to 6 p.m. I think is what we settled on.
Great. I'm so excited, and we are all excited at Copper Cat Books. Again, as I said at the beginning, this was a really great read. And Veronique will be here October 31st, Halloween 3 to 6. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.